Okay, we are here with the candidates for the Madison County Sheriff's race, and that will begin on, early voting is May 9th, and the primary will be May 24th. So thank you, Nick Phillips, for being here today, and Ronnie Boyd for being here today. And I just want to start by saying you guys have been really nice to work with. You know, you've done great answers for our profiles and any stories that we've worked on, and you've been accessible, and we thank you for your time here tonight. So we're just gonna go ahead and get started. We're gonna start just by you guys briefly introducing yourself, and then we'll jump right into the questions. So we'll go in alphabetical order, and Ronnie, we'll start with you.
All right, thank you, Ellen. I'm Ronnie Boyd. I was born and raised in Rogers, Arkansas. I've been married for 26 years to my wife, Katie. I have 3 daughters and 1 son-in-law and 1 grandson. I have over 16 years of law enforcement experience with Rogers Police Department, Kansas Highway Patrol as a trooper there, and currently I'm with Arkansas State Police as a state trooper here. I've been in Madison County for a little over 7 years, and I call it home.
All right, thank you. Nick?
Well, I'm Nick Phillips. Work for the Arkansas Highway Police right now. Born here in Madison County, 6th generation from Madison County. Married to my wife, Oakley. We've been married right at 38 years. I got 1 son and a daughter-in-law. Justin, he still lives in the Crittenden County area. He has a business down there. Moved back to Madison County 8 years ago. Promised my wife I'd bring her back a lot sooner than that, but after 28 years, she was sure that I had story to her about how long we were going to stay in Crittenden County. But we got back up here, and I turned 21, went to work for the state, moved to West Memphis. Been with them for 36 years, started here 37. Same department, started with, like I say, year 37 in May. But decided to move back. Always knew we were always going to be back in Madison County. I always wanted to be back here. So when the opportunity arose, we moved back and decided now it's time to run for sheriff in Madison County.
Okay, well, let's jump right in, and we'll start running with you. During the last few years, crime has increased, and people feel as though when they make a call to the sheriff's office about a crime, nothing is done. People have lost faith in the sheriff's office to respond to all the crimes that are called in. Someone said to us just the other day, we live in a county with no jail and no plan. What will you do to reinstate the trust when someone calls a crime into the sheriff's office?
Well, it's going to start from the very top, and I plan on being very active as the sheriff and being out making cases, making arrests, answering calls. I have experience answering calls with Rogers Police Department. I've answered probably about I won't say every call that they would have answered here, but nearly every type of call. And so I think I'll be very proficient in that, and I'm good at investigating crimes, and I want to focus on that. But I think it starts at the top, and I want to be that example for all the deputies, and just get out there and work side by side with them. As far as answering calls, I plan on answering calls. Every call should be answered. Now, sometimes there's manpower issues that may delay a call getting answered, and it's just based on priority. But it should get answered, and somebody should respond to them. So I have no tolerance for not doing the job, and I want to do it as effectively as possible. And I'm up here. I'm putting my name on this, and my name means a lot to me. That's the most important thing I know. And if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to go out and do it.
Okay, Nick?
Same question?
Same question. You want me to read it one more time?
Yes, if you don't mind. I thought we were swapping questions. So
Okay, sorry. We'll just, both of you will get a chance to answer.
Right.
But okay, so during the last few years, crime has increased in Madison County, and people feel as though when they make a call of a crime to the sheriff's office, nothing is done. In that sometimes there's no response or no investigation. Some people have lost faith in the sheriff's office, and someone in the county said to me just the other day, I feel like we live in a county with no jail and no plan. What will you do to reinstate trust when someone calls in a crime to the sheriff's office that you'll follow up with a report?
Okay. You know, answering a call that comes in the sheriff's office, not only is it the responsibility of that officer, but it's also the responsibility of the sheriff's office to see that it's done. I think that we have let the people down in Madison County over the past several years. I've had this same thing asked me, you know, we make a call in and no one ever shows up for the scene. I assure you that elected as the sheriff of Madison County, somebody's gonna show up on that scene. We're gonna see what it is. There's no call that's too small. That if it means enough to the person in the county to make that phone call to the sheriff's office, not only is it the responsibility of the department to show up, but you know, that makes it for a good person to show up and answer the call. When they call in, I think, and I've had this asked me that, you know, that we've called in something and we never hear anything else. Well, I think that it's the sheriff's office and the sheriff's responsibility to follow up on some of those calls. Just tell the people, if it's nothing more, to call you back, say, you know, we've not forgot about you, we're still working on it, and keep them updated on some of the calls. The jail's been a problem. Our jail problem started over 12 years ago. You know, this isn't something that just happened this past year. You know, when I first said I was gonna run for sheriff back in October, that, you know, I addressed it then that we're gonna have to do something about this jail. Now, all of a sudden it became top priority in January when all of a sudden we had to move them out of Washington County. I'm a firm believer in the quorum court. That's not up to the sheriff, that's the quorum court and the county judge. I know they're moving forward with it. We've said in meetings, Ronnie and I have said in the same meetings with the new jail. Southville's got a great plan, the quorum court members, and they're moving forward with it. So, but still, that's gonna be a problem that we're gonna have to address for the next 3 years before we're able to get a jail to put them in. So we're gonna have to make it hard on the criminals in Madison County and show them that we're not gonna tolerate the activity here. We don't want them here. You know, if they're not bringing anything positive to our county, they can leave and go somewhere else.
That is a great segue into my first question, our next question, and it's a two-part, because I like to make it hard. Why has crime increased in the county? And name 3 things you will do to help lessen crimes.
And Nick, we'll start with you since we started with Ronnie last time.
Okay. If you have no accountability for your crimes, then we're gonna have those problems come to our county. Without a jail, there's no consequences for our crimes. I've worked in, you know, we've got 75 counties in Arkansas, I've worked probably 70 of them. Let's start with drugs. We have a massive problem with drugs in our county. Thievery goes hands in hands with drugs, okay? So they will come to the county and they'll steal to be able to buy and help supply their demand that they're needing for the drugs. One of the big things that I've always been a strong advocate of is civil forfeiture. We did it, I worked the interstate in West Memphis for years. We seasoned vehicles, seasoned property, did it in Crawford County. I'm not seeing it done in Madison County. That is a big deterrent on crime. That if that pickup truck or car that they're driving may be worth a measly $200, but that's a $200 vehicle they don't have to get around the county and sell dope anymore. But then too, our problem falls back into, will our prosecutors continue on with it? I'm a big thing for accountability. I stand on being accountable, and if elected as the sheriff of Madison County, you elected me to do a job. I'm gonna do a job and my deputies are gonna do that job, okay? Same way with prosecutors. Prosecutors are elected to do a job and help us enforce the laws within our county. So my thing is that we stop this vehicle, we'll seize it, we'll do the paperwork that's required by law for the department, send it forward to the prosecuting attorney. If the prosecuting attorney doesn't go forward with it, then I think he needs to be held accountable why he did not go forward with it. Well, let's start seizing some of the vehicles, taking the, you know, if you have a sale once a year, twice a year, whatever it would be, that money goes back into the sheriff's office in an asset forfeiture fund that can't be touched for anything but furtherance, the further fight against drugs in the state, for buying equipment, or further training for the officers. It's very well earmarked where it has to be. And we've got to start doing something to that very point. If the problem keeps continuing in place, we can seize property within the county. Okay, so if it's happening at a home, we arrest them, we notify them, and then the prosecuting attorney can go forward with that. And we've got to start making it tough and bad tough on crime in the county. It's the only way that we're gonna stop it. And for the next 3 years, like I said, we're gonna have a hard time doing it. But it's gonna take every man, every foot on the ground out doing it, and I intend on being out there with them. I told one of the boys the other day, I said, I said, if you get elected to this, I said, one thing you'll see in back into that pickup truck's a cooler full of ice down full of water and Gatorade. And he said, well, what are you gonna want that for? And I said, because you're gonna want it. Because we're gonna be out working, you're gonna get hot and want something to drink. I'll have it on hand for you because we'll be there together doing it.
Okay. Ronnie?
Do you want me to repeat?
Yes, Mr.
Okay. Why has crime increased? And name 3 things you will do to help lessen crimes.
Well, I mean, it's a matter of if people are comfortable committing crimes, they're going to commit more crimes. And they're going to commit more severe crimes as well. My focus is let's make them uncomfortable. Let's stay after them. Let's find out who they are, where they go, where they meet up, who else they're connected with. Let's make every encounter we can with them and make them uncomfortable. Let's get in their vehicles, search their vehicles. Let's get their drugs. Let's tow their vehicles. As far as asset forfeiture, I haven't ever seen it solve a community's problem, but it is a tool. But I don't know if I'd want to be, taking every vehicle, $200 vehicle or whatever. But it's something to look at, and you do have to. It has to be worth the cost of actually doing it as well. But I want to stay on top of the criminals and know their every move and just make them uncomfortable. And I think you will see, like Nick said, make them want to go somewhere else. And I have experience doing that at Rogers Police Department. I was on the crime suppression unit, and we stayed after the gang members, the drug dealers, and we had some good success there. So that's one thing, just going hard after the criminals and identifying and just keep after them. You gotta be persistent with them. If you want to be tough on crime, you gotta be persistent. And as far as lessening the crime, I would like to see more deputies. We gotta get creative. We got grants, whatever we have to use. We need to get more money to be able to fund having more deputies. More manpower is going to help. So you said 3 things that I would do.
You're doing great, no worries.
I had something else there I'm trying to think of.
It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be 3.
I had a
want to
third
ease
thing, but I lost
everybody's
my thought.
nerves
Yeah.
and let you realize that we all just agreed.
Yeah.
So take a deep breath.
I should have brought a notepad in.
Oh, you're
Wrote that
good.
down.
Okay, Ronnie, this is for you.
Okay.
As you and I have talked some, you kind of portray yourself as an outsider in the county. And you've been here about 7 years, and I know Nick has moved back here for 6 years. And this is a 2-part question. But your wife also works for the city of Huntsville. We have a great working relationship with her. She does a good job.
Great lady. I love it.
Mhm. But how can you say that you're an outsider and to promote change when you clearly have someone that works at the city as an insider, and if you are elected sheriff, then that would be a pretty powerful couple in the county. And if being an outsider for change is important to you, why is that a bragging point?
Well, I didn't necessarily say I was an outsider. Some may see me as an outsider in this particular race, that because I'm not born here, that maybe I don't need to hold this office.
When you and I.
But I don't feel like an outsider. I feel like a lot of people embrace me. It's a great community. Great communities all around the county, and I've gotten to know a lot of great people.
I think when you and I had a conversation in the past, you had said, I'm not from here, and I kind of view myself as coming into the community later.
Well, I mean, that's people are going to see me that way. I don't, like I said, I don't feel like an outsider necessarily. I just see some people will project that as that I'm an outsider, that I don't necessarily have the right to hold the office of the sheriff.
Okay.
And not everybody. I don't think that's a majority or anything, but some people kind of see it that way. It's like a birthright to be able to hold this office, and I don't believe that's the case. So.
Okay. Well, Nick.
Was there more to that question?
It just, when you and I had talked in the past, you had kind of said, people do see me as an outsider, and kind of promoted yourself as an agent of change based upon being an outsider. And so that was really the gist of it.
Well, I don't think I promoted it as me necessarily. I'm going to be something different than we've seen, and I think that's because my experience, where I've been, I'll be something different than what we've seen since I've been here, and I've got bona fide credentials as somebody going after crime, and I think I'll be able to do that.
Okay.
So, but no, I don't necessarily consider myself an outsider. I feel like the majority of the counties made me feel at home, so.
Good. Well, Nick, this is kind of a kind of flipping the coin a little bit, and you know, your dad is from here, and you're from here, and people, you know you, and have a lot of people grew up, including my mom, you know, with your father. So if people voted for you, can they be assured that you're not just going to be the same? You're going to be different, and how are you going to be different if you are, you know, if you do win the sheriff's office? Would you be more of the same?
You know, I've been asked this question several times, and is it going to be the same old? And
I think you summed it up better. That's what.
and they've asked, not being, I said without being ugly, I don't want it to come across that way, because it's not my intentions whatsoever. But I'm a different person. You can't compare me to what we've got no more than we could compare Ronnie to what we had. Okay? And, you know, so that, in saying that, when I went to work for the state, and I prided myself in this, that I've established a name for myself, actually away from Madison County. Because I knew that growing up here that I would always be Winfred Earle's son. Okay? So when we left here and went to West Memphis, my wife and I didn't know anyone. And so we made a name for ourselves there. Working for the state there, I worked for years diligently on the fight against drugs. Became known for my drug interdiction, and not only just finding it on the interstate, but within neighborhoods and with towns. I was fortunate enough to work with Mike Allen, as the sheriff in Crittenden County. I was a board member there on Crime Stoppers for years. And we found ways to go into neighborhoods and stop the drug. Drugs are devastating on a family. They're devastating on a community in ways that it's unbelievable to most people. I started working, finding loads, and we call loads of dope, large sums of untaxed alcohol, untaxed cigarettes, stolen property, marijuana, cocaine, heroin, you name it. And established a name for myself so that I was allowed to become instructors for different agencies throughout the state, from the DEA, from the Federal Highway Administration, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. I've been all over in every province in Canada, instructing the things that we have found that worked good on the interstates and in our inner cities. That I've taught everywhere within the United States. Multiple drug interdiction classes around the United States, state conferences, federal conferences. I taught for years with it's the #1 privately owned drug interdiction class in the United States. It's owned by a man that is a retired California highway patrol he's called Desert Snow. Matter of fact, some of our officers here have attended. I think Ronnie, you've attended it. I instructed with them for over 16 years. Right? We have developed these techniques and the things that we know, and we know the way that it's done in cities, transportation across country, as well as transportation just across town. I've worked here in Madison County now. I've made several working with other law enforcement agencies. We made a stop out on 412, and that with a large amount of meth that carried us on into other things, and they were able to tie that into other states. We've done it from here, we've done it from the south part of the county, and so we've got a great working relation, and I know how to do it. Know how to motivate the men, and that we can get it done together. Because if you're not out working with them, it's not going to get done.
Shannon, you have the next few questions.
Who started first? Who started
Ronnie
first?
did.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna let you answer this one first. Will you hire new deputies or keep the same staff?
Okay.
That'll be for both of you. We'll just let you answer first.
We have got good deputies within our county. All right, the deputies that we have here, I believe, want to be here. I mean, that's the only reason they're here. The reason they're staying, they could go to work for Washington County or Federal PD, you know, and I mean, Federal PD's offering a $10,000 sign-on bonus right now. So I think we're fortunate to have the ones that we have here because they're here, they were born here, and they want to make a difference in their community. The administration will change. You know, I mean, that's just what it is. I hope all of our deputies that are here will stay. I think we've got some good ones. I hope they're willing to stay and fight with me on this because I'm going to need a group of good men to do this. Because if I come in and say, well, I can come into Madison County with my knowledge of drug interdiction or, you know, Crime Stoppers and I can fix it myself, I'd be storing to you because it can't be done one man. It's going to, not only is it going to take the sheriff's office, but we're going to have the whole community to do this. You know, there was a thing on Facebook the other day, and I've saved the picture. There's a shark swimming, and a huge fish is fixing to swallow the shark. But when you look close, it's a bunch of little bitty fish. And they've teamed together to fight, you know, to kill this shark. And that's what we're going to have to do together in the community. We're all going to have to come together, be the big fish, and we're going to run the rats out of our county. Where they want to go, don't matter to me as long as it's not here.
Same question for you.
Yes, could you repeat that?
Will you hire new deputies or keep the same staff?
I don't plan on coming in and firing anybody. There will be a transition made on the captain's spot, but I have a plan that I'm not willing to say just yet, but you know, I think we got a good bunch of guys to work with, and gals, I should say. Yeah, I think we got people that are committed, that want to be here, and that's half the battle, getting people here that want to be here, and then just training them to what, and giving them the expectations that you want to see. And, you know, as sheriff, I would want to set those expectations and be that lead example. And I want to be right there working with them. And I think we can do some good things.
Okay, so keeping with the theme of our conversation of deputies, what will you do to try to hire more deputies? And we're going to start with you.
Well, we got to look into grants and see what we can do there. I don't know if there's not a whole lot of options at this point as far as getting more funding. So grants would be one of the biggest things. But we've got to see. You know, I'm hopeful that maybe with you know, property values going up, maybe we're going to get some more revenue off property tax and stuff. More people moving in. That we will maybe have some more revenue to work with, but we've got to make that a priority to find a way to get more deputies. We're way understaffed. If you look at it, we've got 13 total officers here, counting the sheriff, and if you look at neighboring Newton County, they have that is about the same number of certified law enforcement officers, and they're half the population as we are. And I think that equals, I did some math before, but I think it equals out to about 0.8 officers per 1,000 people that we're serving. And the national average is about, I think, 2.3, 2.4 per 1,000. Obviously, we're in a rural area, probably don't need to be up to, you know, 2 or whatever per 1,000, but
A whole would be good.
yeah, 1 per 1,000, that'd be something right there. But we've got to find a way, and I think people see that we're way understaffed, and it's not good. It's not safe for the officers. You know, it's not safe for the citizens. If they need somebody, they need somebody. So grants would be #1 priority, and just seeing whatever we can do. There's not a whole lot of shifting in the budget. I'm pretty sure of that, but we got to find ways. So.
Same question for you.
Do you want to read it again?
Yeah, you get listening to that.
Yeah, I know.
And I think, dang, that's pretty good there, you know, and you forget what the question was.
What will you do to try to hire more deputies?
Okay. You know, I've got some good friends that are on Quorum Court, and I've told them, I said, you know, when we come to Quorum Court meeting, we're gonna be business, okay? We'll be buddies again when we get out, but I can separate business and friendship. And I've told them, I hope they can, all right? Because I will come in and I will fight and ask and beg, and I will wear them out to get us some more people. Heck, they're gonna wind up giving me more people just to shut me up, you know? But the people in Madison County I think we've seen we, Madison County, have seen the need that we're gonna have this jail. And now that the people in Madison County are gonna be willing to step up, you know, for whatever has to be done to be able to fund it and pay for it. I think they also believe and know, and they can see that we need more deputies in the county. And whether it's you know, for however the court wants to come up with it, if they wanna, you know, if it's raising sales tax, if it's raising property taxes. I hate taxes worse than anybody, but I'm willing to pay that extra sales tax if it's gonna help get our county back online. We're losing what we had, and it's burning down around us. And if we don't step up and fix it now, it's gonna be lost forever and we'll never get it back. You know, like Ronnie said on the grants, I've talked to sheriffs in other counties, and I had never thought about it, which there's always ways to get money. And you know, a couple of them have told me, they said, look, we apply through the college and let the college help us get grants, because we have grant writing programs. People go to school every day to get their master's and get their doctorate on grant writing. And I was talking to one of the sheriffs from another part of the state the other day, and he said, one of the #1 places that you have in the county is Northwest Arkansas, the university. He said, that's a massive resource. He said that y'all need to be tapping in on. You know, the county, we can't afford to hire a permanent grant writer here. But if we can use the university to get us some grants, then I think that would be a massive, massive help to the sheriff's office and to the people of the county. Because, you know, if we can get something for free, we'd all much rather have that than have to pay for it. Yeah. And so that's one of the things I'm wanting to look into real hard.
Okay.
I would just add to that, though, that, I mean, you don't necessarily have to put somebody on payroll for
Right.
grant writing.
Right.
There are grant writers that just take a percentage of what they secure in grant funding. So you don't necessarily have to have them on the payroll, but they're working, trying to get you that money, and they just take a percentage of that money as well.
Okay, so I'll have you answer this, but staying with deputies and the need for help. If you won this election, would you hire your opponent?
You know, here's what somebody asked me the other day, and I'll tell Ronnie. They said, tell me something bad about Ronnie Boyd. I said, well, I think Ronnie's a good man. I think he's a good Christian man. You know, what else bad do you want me to say about him? You know, Ronnie has got, I'm hoping that we can work together. I mean, I like Ronnie. I've worked with him on accidents. I can't say anything bad about him. There's nothing bad to say. You know, now, in saying all that, I think I'm gonna be the better sheriff. All right, now,
I got a big difference.
I'll say that part. You know, but
we can still shake hands
Yeah.
after though, whichever.
But yeah, if Ronnie would be, you know, if Ronnie would be interested, I'd always consider, you know, some, you know, any law enforcement officer. But I mean, we're going to have to change some things in the county, and I think Ronnie sees that too. That we're going to have to change things in the county and change the way that it's been done. Because, you know, we always hear, well, you know, something bad about this one, something bad about that one. You can't compare apples and oranges. You can't do it. Ronnie's job that he has now is completely different than the sheriff's office. My job that I have now is completely different than what the sheriff's office is. But the sheriff of Madison County is being hired as an administrator to get the funds and get the things that we need for our deputies and that we need for our county, and see that it is dispersed out within the county in the proper locations. You know, do we need more officers down south? Absolutely. Do we need them more in, at Shauna's Corner? Absolutely. You know, so where do we put them at? I'm like Ronnie said, we're gonna have to get some more deputies. Geographical location of the county, it kills us. I mean, you know, that's a big thing in response time. But you know, somebody had said, and I'm sure Ronnie's heard it, that the south part of the county's been forgot about. I said, I consider myself south part of the county. Living in Witter, you know, I'm, you know, just as, you know, as far south as about the rest of the, you know, the rest of the people down there. But yeah, there's always room for improvement in the county. There's always room for improvement in the sheriff's office and in any organization. And that's what my goal is to improve the county, the sheriff's office, and the response time and the safety that the people in the county can count on.
Same question for you.
Read it again.
Would I hire him?
That's the only part I heard. That's the only
You got
part I
it.
heard.
Well, I don't think I would want to do that to, it probably wouldn't be fair to either one of us, actually, going through all this, and, you know, who knows, this could be a very, very close race, and I just don't know if Nick came begging me for a job, I'd see no reason not to hire him, but, you know, I just don't know I don't know if that'd be a good mix or not,
Well,
I mean,
you know, it might be,
it could be.
it'd be a clash of maybe,
he may have his ideas, and it just might not be a good mix. Maybe I let the dust settle or whatever, and then we can, after a year or two, maybe.
Yeah.
And then,
you never know.
but no, I've got no personal animosity towards Nick. So
We asked people to send questions in,
That was
and
when
we
they
had
sent
that one more than once.
Yeah.
So,
Really?
yeah, I thought it was interesting.
So here is another question that actually came in. A reader wanted us to ask this. We have a drug problem in our community. Parents are concerned about the talk by students of vaping and drugs in our schools. And some of our teenagers, after they graduate, become involved with drugs. So what steps would you take to help our kids with any potential drug problems? And Ronnie, you go first since Nick did last
Well,
time.
I've been very vocal about this. I want to get more. I want to get into schools. I want more drug education awareness for the kids. We've got to try reaching them. A lot of them don't have good positive role models, and I would like to get as many people in the schools that want to help and want to try to reach some of these children and let them just see that there's a different path you can take. You don't have to, just because you've been around drugs or alcohol or whatever, you don't have to choose that. You've got another path. You can work on in school, you know, building yourself up who you are, getting some knowledge, and then you can make your own destination. You create your own path. And I think if the more people they see that have, that show them, hey, there's a better way than what I've seen, I think more likely they're going to choose that path. And if we just reach a few of them each year, man, that's a big success, I think. Just reaching one. I mean, but I want to get into schools. I want the kids to know me, go have lunch with them. And it's not just me. I mean, I want them to know all of our officers. But I'd also like to see if we have support for a mentoring program or something, get that started over here in Madison County, and let's get as many people involved as possible. I know I wouldn't be able to head up the mentoring program. Probably have to find somebody that was really capable to do that, but cause I'm gonna have a lot on my plate as sheriff. But I would love to do whatever I could to help out and get the people together and start thinking about some ways that we can reach our kids in school.
Want me to read it again?
Okay.
Okay, and it does come from a reader. We have a drug problem in our community, and parents are concerned about the talk by students of vaping and drugs in our schools. Some students become involved with drugs beyond graduation. What steps would you take to help our kids with drug problems?
You know, when we go start talking about, you know, with kids and dealing with things, I'm a firm believer that it's not my place to tell you how to raise your children. Maybe we need to start with our education with parents to spend more time with their kids. Education needs to start at home, as same well as respect needs to start at home, so it will carry on with them further in life. And if you can't take care of the problem at home, you know, we will have to take care of it later on down the road. Do we need more people in school teaching our kids? You know, and we've tried this. If we remember, let's go back 15, 20 years ago, that Arkansas State Police, one of their big things was just say no.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, we all had those bumper stickers. Mm-hmm. And we see that over the time it has become so easy and so prevalent and easy to get in every location. And we know it only takes one, you know, I'm sure Ryan said it only takes one time, because here, try it one time, it's not going to hurt you. They don't realize the devastation it's fixing to cause their families. All right? We need more education out here. There's a group that does truckers against trafficking, and out of Oklahoma. And what they have done is, and some of the women that are there were actually trafficked throughout the United States, but their whole problem started with drugs in school. And bring some of those people in, they'll come do a class for us for nothing. And bring them in and bring those people in that can actually say, hey, this is exactly how it happens, where it starts, and they can show the kids from the time, this is what happens when you start this. We've got to give more community relations out here with the sheriff's office operating with the schools. We've got a good school resource officer, get her more involved, and a lot of it comes back into the training aspects. And when we go back to asset forfeitures, we can use the asset forfeiture money for furthering training in drug interdiction, as well as any other small things that we want to get, put a class on here. And we can use that money to bring people in, is to fight against drugs. And we've got to do it for the community. We have to.
Okay. Do you want me to read or?
I have.
No, I know that.
Oh, no,
Okay.
I had an allergy flare that is just not leaving.
Okay. She's gonna be able to ask this question.
Reported cases of excessive force remain a national concern. In light of the tasing of a minor at school and criminal charges being pressed, if elected sheriff, how would you handle the use of excessive force in your department? And you'll start because he started with the last one.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you, there is no place in law enforcement for excessive force, period. It will not be tolerated at the Madison County Sheriff's Office. I will not tolerate it, not for a minute. It's not going to happen. I don't know, you want me to tell you what I would do if it happened? Was that part of your question?
How would you handle the use of excessive force in your department?
Okay. First thing I do, if that allegation comes in is excessive, you file a complaint with the sheriff's office against excessive force against one of my deputies, I would take my deputy and say, look, here's what we're going to do. We're going to stay on administrative leave till we get it investigated. Now, the sheriff's office, we do not have a CID division. I don't think it'd be proper for the sheriff's office to handle their investigation on one of their own deputies. So we would making contact with another agency and have them send one of their officers in, let them take care of it. That way there's a non-biased. I don't want to ever be accused of covering up something, covering from one of our guys. If he's wrong, he's wrong. Then we'll take the appropriate actions and the steps from there. It might be something that if it's and we've all had them. And I think one of the best things that we've ever come up with in law enforcement is our body cameras. That has saved a lot of allegations over the years. I'm sure, I know it has with state police, maybe not Ronnie, but with Arkansas State Police, some allegations that were made with them, and it was all caught on camera. The same with our department. We have them in the cars now. The officers wear body cameras, and I expect our officers to do that, because that, we will all look at stuff that, well, I don't want somebody to keep an eye on me. Well, you know what? That's not to keep an eye on you. That's to protect you in the long run. And I've seen it with our department, that it has saved officers' careers, from false allegations that weren't done, anything from sexual harassment to excessive force. And, you just have to handle each case on case-by-case basis of what the allegations were. But as far as excessive force, I won't tolerate it.
Do you want me to?
I think I got it, but just let me know if I'm going astray with it or not. Basically, I think you got to step in day one and you got to lay out guidelines of what you expect from your deputies, and you tell them, hey, I guess maybe day one you can't go through everything, but obviously you want to make that a priority, that excessive force is not necessary. If you treat people with respect, you're going to calm a lot of people down, and if you stay in control, then you start yelling at them, and you're losing control. I've seen it, and you got to just work on controlling yourself, and just let things go. Once you get emotional, and that's what a lot of people want. They want to see you get emotional, and that's when you lose control. That's whenever you make national news doing something you shouldn't have done. And so I want to talk to them about keeping control. Don't let people get to you. They want to get you riled up. They want to see you do something that could help them get out of trouble as well. So definitely make that a priority, talking to them and getting them trained up on it, and knowing beforehand, you know, what's appropriate, what's not. I mean, obviously, if you're dealing with an elderly lady or somebody in a wheelchair or something, you better be thinking twice about certain things to do, or children as well. You know, you got to have that mindset before you're actually in that place. And as far as if somebody does use excessive force, no, it will not be tolerated. You know, we'll go through investigation and do everything like we're supposed to, but I mean, there's no reason for it. And I don't want to set myself up for a lawsuit. I don't want to set the county up for a lawsuit. Won't be tolerated.
I have a rogue follow-up for that.
Yeah.
Okay, because you both made good points about the relationship that you have with the person, even that person being a criminal potentially, and your interaction. Another area that has become of light a lot recently is officers trained for mental disabilities or handicaps. How would you, do you have an idea for how to get that into our sheriff's office here in Madison County, so that we have some proper training for interacting with maybe someone with autism or with a different disability of that type? Either one of you can go. This is just a rogue follow-up.
I don't think it would be very hard to find that. I mean, it's not a situation you encounter too commonly, but it does happen. And you know, if you see something's not right, you're not really reaching that person, whatever, you might start thinking, okay, maybe there's something that's keeping a barrier between us communicating. And I mean, is it drugs, or is it does it have a mental problem or something that's keeping that barrier of communication from happening? So yes, I do believe there would be some training that you could do. I received some with state police here, and I believe I received some in Kansas as well. But I do recall, well, probably Rogers PD, dating way back then too. But I do most recently recall though that receiving training at the troop school here in Arkansas, dealing with people with autism or other mental deficiencies that you know make for a very challenging situation, let's say, and especially if they're violent. I mean, it's a tough situation. So just the biggest thing is you got to stay in control and not get angry and emotional. You got to try to work through the problem, and if they don't have any means to do harm to you, then you know you got time to think about it. So.
We see those calls come in the logs sometimes where families who might be struggling to regain control will call and ask for assistance. That's kind of the realm of which my question's coming from too.
And sometimes you just learn by experience, because you do encounter those things too.
Yeah, I know that mental disability is hard on everybody. It's hard on the sheriff's office, but you know, law enforcement, sometimes we're too quick to react, and then maybe we just step back for a minute and look at things. But we have been through training through over the years of the way to handle people like that. Just the number of officers that we have in the county, we're at a struggle here to get our officers some of that training. So yes, I agree, we need to bring someone here to do more training here for a lot of our officers. You know, and like I say, on classes dealing with mental problems, not only, like I say, children, adults, but you know, a lot of times it's in the way you talk to people. You know, I'd much rather talk my way into something than have to wrestle our way into something. And a lot of times handling people with knowing how to handle and talk to people. I mean, I think that is a big asset in law enforcement. You know, I was ridiculed here a while back on a man that I brought in over here. And I was really, it hit pretty hard, especially on social media, that he should have been in handcuffs. Okay, handcuffs have a place in law enforcement. There's no doubt about it. But a lot of times, trying to go ahead and put cuffs on somebody makes us escalate the situation, and when there's no need for it to start with. And this person has, which way you want to look at it, he has a little bit of a mental. He's got an issue that needs to be dealt with. And so it's knowing how to see those when you come up on it. Ronnie said you've got to make that determination as you're pulling up on something to how to handle the problem, how to take care of it, and what force is needed from the beginning of it. And so that's something that comes with experience. But there are classes that we need to do, and we need to do more for our officers and get them some more training.
Okay,
Thank you.
who went first?
I think I asked you first.
That's right, because we
Okay.
did
Yeah.
the following.
We're
Okay.
confusing ourselves.
Sorry, it's what I
We'll
wrote,
slide the
sorry.
note, whoever's got the
That's
most
right.
expertise.
Pick up whatever has the shell under it. Okay, how will you promote transparency in the sheriff's department if you were elected?
I'm just a firm believer in transparency, period. Somebody comes up and if they want to, if they have a question, no matter what it is, my door will always be open to the people of Madison County, no matter what they're thinking. Now, if it's an ongoing investigation, or, we will have to address those per incident or incidents. But, if we've got something going on, they want to come in, they want to see paperwork, besides personnel, children, something that can't be dealt. But my door will be open for anybody in the county that ever wants to know. I think half of them now, we've got our cell phone numbers. My personal cell phone number. Anybody that wants it can have it, because I will be full transparency, available for a call or phone calls, or somebody wants, I've got a problem. My neighbor's dog keeps chasing my cows. Call me. We will see that it's taken care of.
Ronnie?
Well, I should always be transparent. I mean, I try to live my life pretty transparently. I don't have much to hide, so I don't think maybe I don't have anything. We'll see. Don't try to pry that out.
You're talking to the journalist.
But no, I mean, I believe in giving over what we can give over. Obviously, if there's an ongoing investigation, then we've got to keep control of certain facts that could be critical to the make or break of the case and getting it solved. But no, I have no problem with giving information that in a timely manner, as long as it doesn't interfere with the investigation, or if it next of kin maybe hasn't been notified of an incident or something like that. But I don't see a problem with transparency.
Okay, so, back to me. Will you, as sheriff, campaign for the passage of a sales tax and a maintenance and operation tax for the jail? And how?
Is that me first?
You're first.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
no, all right. Okay, so campaign, yes, I'm gonna be a big advocate for the jail. We gotta do what we gotta do. It looks like sales tax right now is probably about our best option, but we gotta have it. And I've been out talking to people, and I let them know, and they let me know. They know that we need a jail. So there's not much talking up I gotta do about it. I think about everybody I've talked to, there might have been one or two that's maybe concerned about property taxes that come, the funding coming from property taxes, but, I know that's concern for people. I don't like taxes. I wish, federal and state taxes may be lower, but, as far as local taxes, I'm more inclined to say, raise them up a little bit, just as long as we can see the benefit of it. If we don't see the benefit, then, nobody's gonna wanna, may skirt by one time and get it, but then if nobody sees the benefit, then don't bother coming back again, because they're gonna be fed up with it. So if it's used like it's supposed to be, and it's nothing else should be attached to it. It should be focused on the jail, solving this problem that's been lingering on for years, and we need it resolved. And I think people are at that stage that they want to see it resolved.
I agree. I mean, I've spoken to Frank about it, quorum court members. What we're gonna have to do, and not like before, just put it out, run it in the paper one time, we're gonna vote for a sales tax. It's gonna take the sheriff, it's gonna take the quorum court members, it's gonna take the county judge, going to each community and sitting down with them at a community meeting, and tell them, say, this is what we're gonna have to do. And we can't go one time to one community and do it. We're gonna have to go several times, sort of town hall meetings, and show them this is what it's gonna be used for. I've said it before, I'll say it again, taxes, I despise taxes. This is something that right now the county don't have a choice. I don't see any other way that we can come up with the money to pay for this. And we all say, well, I'm not gonna vote for the taxes, but you know what? Till somebody breaks into my house and I want that person arrested, or he hurts my children or my wife, that's when it becomes our most important. We should have passed this tax. And we're missing the boat on this, but they're gonna have to go out and go to the communities and do it. I think right now people see the problems that we're having in the county and that they will vote for it. And, and I think it was brought up at quorum court, a 2% sales tax. I hate them putting a number on it, but that may be what it takes. But, if you break it down to actually how much money that is, I'd write that check today to cover my sales tax for the rest of the year, because you're talking on $30,000. If you spent $30,000 in the county, it's only $600. So really it's a small amount. 2% sounds like a huge number till you break it down and you figure out exactly what it would cost you. And what on $1,000 we're talking what, 20 bucks? Yeah.
We write, we don't do math.
Well, me either. I didn't, trigonometry wasn't my strong suit there. But, but we're gonna have to go to the community and spend time with the community and educate them on it. I mean, that's the only way it's gonna happen, but we've got to have a jail. If it's not, it's fixing to destroy us.
So just a quick follow-up, you answered that, right, Ron?
Yes, I
Okay,
think so.
okay, good.
Am I holding the cup?
Yeah.
I want to make sure. And a quick follow-up, because I know we're running out of time, so just a very quick yes or no. If you do not win the primary, will you still consider actively campaigning for the jail tax?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, we've gotta have it.
Okay.
Okay. What would you do the first day you're in office?
Redecorate. No. Okay. First thing I would do, I'd like to come in and have a sit-down meeting with all the men. Tell them what my expectations are, and not what I expect you to do, but what we are going to do together to fix the problems in the county. I will never ask one of them to do anything that I wouldn't be there doing with them. And it doesn't matter to me what time of day or night it is. That we've got to, our number one goal is to protect our citizens of the county, enforce laws, the state laws and criminal laws, take care of the problem, and we'll go from there with it. If something goes wrong, call me, I'm there. But to sit down with the guys one-on-one, I think that I would need to sit down and have an open meeting with everybody, and then I'd like to have a one-on-one with each individual person, and not only tell him what I expect from him, but to hear what he expects from me. I think that that's going to be a big thing, of what they expect from their sheriff.
Well, I haven't really given it too much thought, but I would think I would have already talked to everybody, probably individually, before the first day, but I would maybe try to meet with whoever's on at that time. I don't know if we can call a special meeting at that time or not, but definitely I want to get off and running. I want to talk to them. I want to start riding out with the guys and getting familiarized with everything they do, their systems, and just hit the ground running pretty much. I mean, unless there's something else that happens that day that's changing my course of action there, but I want to get out there and get running.
This is the last one?
No, I have
You
lots.
have the last one, okay. All right, we're gonna start with you, Ryan.
Okay.
Name 3 goals that you will accomplish during your first 100 days. Not just goals that you set, but 3 goals that you hope to accomplish during your first 100 days, if you were to win.
Well, I mean, I really don't, all I'm gonna promise is that I'm gonna work as hard as I can. I wanna change morale. Morale is terrible at the Sheriff's Department. They wanna see something different. They wanna see somebody right there hands-on with them. So that'll be number one. You know, I want to see if hopefully we have this communications radio issues figured out before then. I mean, I know people are aware of this, but I think something needs to be done there. Because I think it's critical. Somebody's life could depend on it. If we're not getting the radio transmissions that we need dispatched to those out in the field, whether it's fire personnel or deputies, somebody's life could be in danger. So I'd like to see that. I don't know if I've got a third on there or not for the first 100 days. I hadn't really given myself a time frame on 100 days or whatever. But those are immediate things right there that I would like to address. Get the morale going and just let them know, hey, I'm here to help you, and we're gonna work together, and we're gonna do the best job we can. Jail or no jail, we're gonna keep after it. So.
Okay, do me read it again, or?
Oh, I got 100 days and what I'm gonna do. Well, the first 100 days, I mean, you know, setting a time frame on something that you're gonna do is just gonna be virtually impossible. I'm like Ryan, I wanna come in that first 100 days and the guys see what I'm wanting to do for them and what we're gonna accomplish together. I think it's important that first 100 days that the citizens of the county know that we're there for them. We've got morale issues with the sheriff's office, and we're losing the confidence within the county. And that confidence within the county is something that we've lost, and we're going to get back. And I'm going to get it back from the county and show them that this is what we're going to do. And, you know, I can say words all day long that I'll do this, but until we're there to show you. Because, you know, law enforcement for a whole, we're always ridiculed for what we do and chastised for what we don't. So, you know, to come out and go with them and show them that we're going to be in your communities. You know, we're going to be there. We're going to answer calls. We're going to come in, and the deputies will see that you can only lead by leadership. So show them that what we're going to do and do it with them. And I think that we can bring this county back doing that.
Last question.
Last question. I have a newly eligible voter in my household. It's gonna be another 2-part, okay?
They're not laughing.
Now I'm grown up.
They know
I saw more of a grimace than a laugh.
But they go hand in hand, I promise. Okay. I have a newly eligible voter in my household. Why should your election matter to her? Why should someone give their vote to you? It's the easy 2-part.
Whose turn was it really?
Yeah, I really don't know.
It really is your turn first.
Okay.
Knew she was going
to.
Yeah. No, I think that, you know, I want our kids in Madison County to respect our law enforcement, be able to walk up to them at any time. And I think that's what we're needing. We've lost some of our, you know, people are moving here from all over the United States, and we're moving here from the small town community that we grew up with, okay? And we're losing this. And I want the days where we could walk back down the street and the police pull up and say, you know, hey, Alan, you know, be sure you're doing right tonight. You know, don't make me call you mom and daddy. And, you know, we've lost that where we call mom and dads instead of taking actions on our own. And we've got to get back to that. I want them to feel that, the want to from the sheriff's office and from our law enforcement officers. I think we're missing the boat on this. That I would like for law enforcement to go to each community with our EMS and our search and rescue, and go to these communities with the county, the state police, the highway police, and all go there, have a pie supper. And I want to serve the citizens, but that way they know who their law enforcement, who their EMS are. They're going to know who their people's coming to pick them up. And until we become more familiar and they know us one-on-one, we'll have a working relationship with the county that, we've not had that in 30 years. We used to have that here, and we can get it back. I want the people to call me on the phone and drive down the road and wave with all 5 fingers, But I want the kids to know that, because we're invested now in her future, because it'll be better for her kids. And that's what I want for Madison County. I want it to be better for all of us, the way it used to be. And we can get that back. It's not gone. We just got to change our way of thinking and the way that we handle stuff.
Was that the 2-part too?
Well, we can come back. We'll
Okay,
let
all right.
y'all have a closing statement.
Okay.
I don't know if I got that last part of that or not.
We'll come back, we'll do a closing.
Okay. Well, I mean, if she wants to vote for somebody that is really motivated and wants to get out there and make the community better, every community in the county better, I believe I'm the candidate. I think I've got a motivation that's just driving me to want to do something to reach our children, and it's kind of personal to me. As a kid growing up, parents were divorced and alcoholic dad, and I saw good role models growing up, and it kept me from. I did my share of stupid stuff. Don't get me wrong, I was young and dumb once, and hopefully not still. Definitely not young still. But,
Say which part, young or dumb.
yeah, well, no, there's only one option. So, but yeah, I want to reach the kids and those that, she just turned 18, and those that she still knows that are younger than her. I want to reach them and just see if there's something we can do to change their lives for the better. And I know having good coaches growing up, having friends that had good dads, they influenced me. My Uncle Larry, one of the best guys you could ever imagine, but I saw what they had to offer in their lives, and I wanted that. I wanted to be that dad. I was going to be the dad that was going to be there for my kids, and that's what I've done. I've taken that seriously, and I want to be that to help other kids too.
I appreciate you both answering that question. A lot of the time there's a big gap between the audiences that our candidates try to speak to, and our county has a wide population of new and young even voters, so I appreciate your consideration for that. I really do.
We appreciate you being here tonight.
Thank you.
We appreciate
Enjoy
the
it.
accessibility that you've given the newspaper to cover you and ask you how you feel about the issues. We feel like getting that information out to our readers is the utmost importance, and we really appreciate your time in helping us do that.
Thank you.
We did
Thanks,
say we'd
Jan.
give you one final plug.
That's right.
So we're gonna hold our word, because that matters to us too. So
So,
one final plug for each of you. I'll let you start this time.
Well, that was the toughest thing right there. I just want the opportunity to go out there and serve everybody in Madison County. I don't take it lightly, trying to get people's support. I want them to trust me and know that if I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. It means a lot to me. I don't take that lightly. So if I'm elected sheriff, then I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna take care of business. I want to be the example. I don't want to disappoint. Like I said before, my name, it means more to me than any possession I have here on earth. And I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. So I'd love to have everybody support me your next sheriff.
Nick?
Dad told me a long time ago, man's only as good as his word, and, and a firm handshake, and I believe that. Elected sheriff of Madison County, you have my word that we're going to fix this problem. That's what we're going to do. We're going to make it a better place again. All I need is the support from the community, and asking for the vote, I'm asking for the opportunity to show you that what we can do in Madison County. You'll have respect. You'll have the confidence in your sheriff's office that the people in the county need. They've got to have that confidence in their sheriff's office. And I'll bring it back and do everything I can. I'll be accessible to you around the clock. Anybody can call me at any time. A lot of people, like I say, cell phone numbers, you'll have it. If you call the sheriff's office, they'll get a hold of me, and I assure you I'll make your calls back. Well, we're gonna make it safe for our kids again. And I just say appreciate everybody's support, and thank y'all for allowing us up here. Y'all are fantastic. And just about all the people, be sure and go out and vote. Nick Phillips from Madison County Sheriff.
Ronnie Boyd.
There you go.
And we, just for, I know the viewers can't see us, but we do have profiles of both of you on our website. And we have all the election information on our website that they can access if they want more information on the link through profiles that we've done.
Okay.
So I appreciate you guys being here
Thank
tonight.
y'all very
Thank
much.
you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.